Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Gunplug Garage coming at you with another unboxing video. I know we just had one a couple of days ago, but this just got delivered by USPS, so I figured I'd open it and share it all with you. This is the high-grade Black Knight Squad Cal-re-A, and this comes to us from Gundam Seed Freedom, just like the Murasame Kai that we just looked at. This is a Black Knight in name only. The main color motif of this is white and gold, and this serves as sort of the final boss of the whole Black Knight Squad. So this is piloted by their leader and their most ace pilot. This is definitely a better looking knight type of motif to me. I definitely like this one a lot more than the Rudro or the Rudroa, the past Black Knights that we've gotten. And it definitely has a lot of Vigna, Gina type stylings on it. So it's got some decent type of design cues on it. It's a pretty interesting looking kit and it's got a lot of features on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the camera up, we're gonna unbox it and take a look at the runners in alphabetical order. And I'll just give you my brief thoughts on it as we unbox it. Now, a lot of these seed kits have been somewhat inconsistent, like the Dual Blitz has been very anemic when it comes to panel line details. And the Murasame Kai, which we looked at recently, looked pretty good. So I'm kind of curious where this one is going to land, as a lot of the embellishment and a lot of the details for this kit are on the gold trim itself. Enough of me yapping, let's get into it. So here we have the A runner here, and like most other A runners, this is a multicolored runner. So we have purple, we have white, we have this teal down here, and then we have these two translucent red pieces, and those are for the beam saber blades. And this is quite a small runner, so this is for the top of the waist. We do have one panel line up there. These two pieces here are for the top of the feet, and they do have a panel line. We have these teal pieces here. I assume this is for some type of beam shield. We have this waist piece here, and it's not completely rounded. If you can tell here, it's kind of like polygonal almost. There's like sections where it's smooth and then it rounds a little bit. So it's not fully smooth, which is kind of interesting. I kind of like that design motif. Looks cool. And then we have two type of claw pieces here for the wrist armor. These beam effects, these are similar to the Destiny's beam effects for the anti-ship sword. We typically don't start with an A runner of this size, but this is mostly a white and gold mobile suit, and it's very royal in its design, so it's not like you need a ton of different colored parts here. This is the only molded purple part, which we will get to in a bit. I think they probably could have gotten away with adding an extra runner in this entire kit with some purple pieces, because there's quite a lot of purple stickers involved. Here we have the B runner, and this is molded in Bandai's type of injection gold type color, not the newer kind. So this does have that curry look to it. And these are all going to be joint pieces. So here we have the top of the foot, miscellaneous joints, the top of the thigh here, other half of the thigh, inner thigh area, and then probably the back of the knee. Then we have the knee joints here in the center, and these all have some decent panel line details on them. It's just a shame it's in this very ugly gold color. And then just more joints. We have the hands here, probably the neck joint, the top of the waist, and then more miscellaneous joints. I assume these are for the arms due to their size. Shoulder joints there. Then we have the elbow joint here. The waist joint, so again, we don't have that dropped leg type of articulation, and then the top of the collar. The B runner is not a very interesting runner, it's mostly joints, and we can see here that it's going to copy the golden frame motif that the Strike Freedom Gundam has. In fact, this runner looks pretty identical to it. I don't think it's the same one from the Mighty Strike Freedom Gundam, but this kit will definitely benefit from cutting these parts out and then spraying with almost any different color of gold than what's provided here. Here we have the C runner, and this is a decent bulk of the armor pieces. This is like the big armor pieces here. Starting off with the C runner, we have the tops of the hands here, and there are some decent panel lines on it. We have some form of skirting here, and we can see this little hatch there in the corner, as well as this little recessed panel line there. And then we have this rear skirt here, which has some great panels on it as well. But flipping over, taking a look, we can see that there's not going to be any articulation on this. So that's going to be a little bit of a bummer. There's not going to be any backwards foot movement. Here we have the front of the skirt with this panel line here and up here in that corner. And as you can tell with these type of regal cutouts, this is color separated for the gold pieces, which is very nice, because if this was a high grade 10 to maybe even 5 years ago, this would have all been a sticker. So it's nice that this is all color separated. And then this is probably the bottom of the main front waist section. Here we have the leg pieces, and there's some nice venting in here and some decent panel lines throughout. Looks like these pieces are going to be sandwiched together, so there will more than likely be a seam line on the kit itself once it's assembled. Some good details and panel lines here, like there's a panel line here within this recessed area for this thruster, which they didn't have to add. Here we have a part of the backpack and the upper collar section. Here we have the upper abdomen portion of the chest, and then probably the top of the chest here with all this embellishment cut out. The neck piece here, and here we have a mega cannon for the abdomen. And here we have the hatch that will swing open to unveil the mega cannon there. Here we have the back. We have this tiny panel line there, and there in the corner. Fold this up there. Quite a high collar all the way around the upper torso section. Here we have the main torso piece, so we can definitely see that knight motif built into it with all these panel lines here on the front of the chest, and we have all these cannons on the front as well. I'm unsure what this part might be. That's probably more than likely for the backpack and combines with this in some way. And then the rest of the Sea Runner is all head pieces. So we have this massive V-fin here, which looks great, looks fantastic, and there are some decent venting and panel lines on it. This is actually the front visor, the front T-visor, so that's where you're gonna put your sticker. Here we have the top of the head, so we got the 2 Vulcan guns on either side, and then this big horn there. And then we have the 2 sides of the head, which are on a sandwich type of connection with a decent panel line. So we have a panel line here up on the ridge and then closer to the head, and that looks pretty good. Decently impressed here with the panel lines on the Sea Runner. I'm interested to see how bad the seam line is on the leg. This may be an area where you're actually gonna want to close up your seam line with some putty or some glue. But all around, a nice amount of details built onto this high grade. Here we have 2 D runners, and they are identical, so we're only gonna look at one. Here we have some more armor embellishments here, so this is for the shoulder, and then for more pieces throughout. Your guess is as good as mine where they go, but more than likely on the legs and the forearm. We have the top of the arm here, miscellaneous armor piece, and then more embellishment with some hatches on either side of this piece there. So this is probably for the forearm. I'm willing to bet a lot of this is for the forearm, because the forearm has this massive piece of armor on the wrist, and then just more armor pieces, which that has some decent panel lining around the top of it. And then the bicep also has some panel lining there. Here we have the upper thigh. We got this panel line, but we also have these little hooks in the panel line. I don't know if you can see that. And that looks pretty good. Definitely breaks it up. Gives it a little more pizzazz on that panel line there. Then here we have the bottom of the foot, which looks decently detailed on the bottom. Here we have the bulk of the forearm here, and there's not a lot of panel lines on it, just those 2 indents in the back there. Here we have the top of the foot, decent amount of detail on that. And then the bottom of the foot with these 2 thrusters in it and some detail all the way around it. So this foot is pretty impressive, to be honest with you. Here we have the top of the forearm armor, which combined with those claws that we saw in Runner A, and then just some miscellaneous armor pieces. And then we have this big beam saber here, regal looking anti-ship sword type beam saber. Here we have 2 E-runners, and these are the big pieces for the wings, and this is where the point of contention is gonna come into play with this kit with a lot of builders. So before getting too deep into this, let's talk about stickers. We have the sticker sheet here, and we have the eye stickers, which are to be expected. It's a mono eye suit, so this is what we're used to getting. It would be nice if they could find a way to make these like transferable. That way you don't have it stuck in one looking position. That way you could switch these out and alternate them, but it is what it is. It's a high grade. I don't expect real grade type of quality here. But we have all this purple here. All these purple pieces really could have and probably should have been on their own runner, because this is a decent amount of parts here. And we only have one molded purple part. So all of these go on the wing. Just to finish off the sticker sheet, we have these sensors here for the main camera, and I'm sure the beam rifle. So a pretty, unfortunately, sticker heavy kit that it more than likely could have been avoided. All those hexagon stickers that we just looked at go on each of these hexagons here on the wings, which is rather disappointing. So I'm not going to be using the stickers. I'm telling you that right now. These are easy enough to mask and spray, and that's what I'm going to be doing. It's just unfortunate because there's a decent amount of real estate here that those purple stickers really could have and should have been pieces. Besides that, each of these wings and wing tips are decently detailed and look really, really good. There's a decent amount of panel lining on them, and we have all these little lasers throughout. I believe these can detach and turn into like a type of funnel, which is why they're so heavily armed and why they have so many beam emitters on them. A cool little wingtip weapon, but just a little disappointing about those purple stickers. So here we have F1 and F2, and all that's on F2 is these pieces down here. So we're gonna look at these first, and then we're gonna take a look at all of F1. So these pieces right here are just gold embellishments for the skirting. This is for the rear back skirt. So it's cool to see this underneath detail here. That will be cool. And then we have this cutout here for the embellishment on the front skirt. This piece here is for the front of the waist armor. And then this piece here is for the hatch that opens up to show the mega particle cannon. Underneath for the front skirt embellishments, there's not really any hatches or truss framing there. And that's all that's different between F1 and F2 is these added parts. So let's take a look at F1. Here we have F1, and taking a look at these, this is just more color separated pieces in a better gold color than what we looked at with the main joint framing. This gold definitely looks a million times better. It's similar to the gold we saw on the Mighty Strike Freedom Gundam, and it's mostly just embellishments throughout. So we can see where this is gonna poke through the armor. We have this foot piece here. This piece here, this is for the head for sure. That big rear neck armor in the back. And then the main collar section for where the head is gonna fit. So I wonder if this is gonna bump in back there. Looks like it's gonna be pretty tight. And then some smaller sections here. So much more impressed with this gold than the gold that we saw on Runner B. It would be nice if this just became the, forgive this joke, it would be nice if this just became the gold standard for Bandai's gold. I'm sure that's a little bit more expensive to print it with this type of gold than the B-Runner gold, but the B-Runner gold is just not very good looking. It just doesn't look good. This looks a lot better, so I just kind of wish they would just switch to this and keep this the standard for their injection gold. Speaking about crappy gold, we got two G-Runners in this gold color, and it's in the injection gold color that looks similar to Curry. Again, it doesn't look great, so we're just gonna take a look at one of these. And this is just all wing pieces. So these are the little fins that poke out from the funnel type weapons, and then miscellaneous thrusters that go throughout the whole kit. My recommendation for this is to just paint these golds a better gold color. You can even rattle can them if you wanted to be lazy about this, but this stuff just does not look great. We have all this panel lining here, all this great detailing here, and it's just a shame that this is on such a big part of the mobile suit that this is gonna stick out and not look super good once it's completed. So I would recommend on this guy, painting it to some degree. All around, the details on this runner is pretty good. I do like it, and we got a lot of stuff to panel line here. It's just a little bit of a shame that it's in this gold color. Now I understand Bandai needs to keep their costs down, because I'm sure if we were gonna get a lot of runners with this super shiny gold, this better looking gold, it would drive the price of the kit up a little bit too much, and this kit's already kind of expensive. Just looking at pre-order prices for this kit's gonna be about $41 to $45 United States price. That includes tax or without tax, whatever state you're in. So this is already gonna be a pretty expensive kit, especially for a high grade. I understand they had to cut costs, but this gold just doesn't look good, and this has such a big footprint of the kit. It would have been really nice if this was molded in these F type of gold colors, but it's nothing paint can't fix. But for out-of-the-box builders, you may just be a little disappointed with the gold on offer here. Last but not least, we have one H runner, and this is literally just 2 halves of a beam rifle, which I don't even recall it using the beam rifle much in the movie, but alas, here it is. Here we have 8 SB6 runners. These are the smaller beam saber runners that we used to get with high grades back in the day, but now they've just basically been relegated to a beam effect part. And this is for those funnels that come out. Kind of the last thing to look at, since we already looked at the stickers, is this pet sheet, which is the wings of light for when the funnel weapons are emitted. And this is super thin plastic that is going to attach to the wings. I'm hoping my lights don't wash this out too much, but it's in this nice orange to red gradient. So we got orange, yellow to red. And this is gonna look really cool on the kit once it's displayed all of its armaments and gone into this wings of light mode. This is a nice pack-in feature. The only problem with it is that it's going to bring more attention to this super ugly gold that is on the wings. So I'm gonna be really conflicted with these gold wings because I wanna do an out-of-the-box review, but I'm also going to want to paint those. So I'm gonna have to keep the kit somewhat accessible so I can take it apart and paint it after the initial review. But these are 100% not gonna be used. I'm gonna paint that for the actual review because yeah, this is just a lot. I just wish this wasn't included because putting this, again, my biggest problem with stickers, I don't care if it's gonna be on a flat part, but this is on a raised textured piece. So these aren't gonna really wrap around on that hexagon super well. It's gonna not look very good at all. So here we have a full spread of what you see in the box. We got the pet sheet here. We got the frame joint pieces here. We got the main armor pieces here, the main wingtip funnel pieces here. We have the main portion of the wing here, some miscellaneous armor bits, some gold embellishment bits, and then the rest of the armor, and then a bunch of these SB6 runners. 12 runners total to build the main mobile suit itself. 20 runners total if we include the SB6 runners for the entire box, plus this pet sheet here. All of this is molded in 9 colors, 10 if you include translucent red. All around, not a terrible looking kit. The only disappointing piece is the amount of purple pieces that could have been molded that were instead turned into stickers. Thank you all so much for watching this unboxing of the Black Knight Squad Cal-re-A. Really kind of more white, but you know, who's to say? It's definitely an interesting design and a design from the Siege Freedom movie that I like quite a bit, and it's definitely a great final boss looking type mobile suit. Stay tuned soon where I do a full review of this kit. I think it will be interesting to take a look at it once it's completed and see how much the gold really kind of bothers me, because a lot of this gold could be covered up, but we won't know until the kit is actually built. Now, I know this video came out soon after the Murasame Kai video, and I would have liked to get a kit review out after that unboxing, but the postal lady dropped this off like 20 minutes ago, so I said, you know what, I'm just gonna unbox it for everyone, and we can hopefully build the hype up for this kit, because this kit does look like it's gonna be really, really cool, despite some of the nitpicky-ish type flaws I might find with it. In any case, that's gonna do it for me and the Cal-re-A unboxing video. I hope to see you in the next video. And as always, thank you so much for your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions. It means a lot to me, and it actually helps the channel now actually get some of this stuff early. So until we review this, stay safe, have fun, and happy building.